So Venus and Earth were once one world, and they nested in the vibratory torus of the star system Rigel and Orion. Now, I feel like this is very fundamental. This is very necessary. This is very important because we are up against such contention, chaos, and strife within the Orion system, the Orion connection, the Orion point that we have across all star seeds, all architecture that has been built into this earth, all incarnation passageways into this earth. Everything is strong held by the Orion system, by the Orion eclipse, okay, by the Orion fixation within the 3D here. Orion is the largest starseed collective, conscious or unconscious, known or unknown on this planet. Orion reigns. And so, wow, right? Wow, that the birthplace of Venus and Earth would have nested in the vibratory torus of the star system Rigel in Orion. Rigel, okay, we get worried about Algol and the alignments of Algol. Rigel, that alignment is housing our planetary creation origins. This would make so much sense as to why the warfare is enslaved to this system at the deepest core degree on the planet. Again, as we get closer to Kauai, as we get closer to that inner Earth gate site, these truths will prevail. They will be exposed. They will come known. Whether you think of it in a, like I said, a pseudo type of sense where it's like, oh, can I trust this? Can I believe this? Well, I feel like, if you feel it in your heart, to me, this makes sense. Okay, it says they divided like a cell so that Venus and Earth created the divine geometry with one another that could not have become otherwise. Through a cosmic event, they were transferred through a wormhole into the star sun of this solar system. Okay. Eventually, they formed into a planet to nest within the native worlds of our solar system. Together, they form a heart geometry of beauty, Earth, and love, Venus. And when we got beauty and we got love, guess what? We got new Earth. Bam, transformation. Ultimate divine marriage, right? To better understand the relationship between Earth and Venus, let's go back into the time when the two worlds were as one in the star sun of Rigel within the constellation of Orion. There is a reason why Orion is considered the gate of man. This is the could it be that all of humanity itself was birthed from the Orion system? Let's think about that. Let's think, or Earth. Okay, we might be star seeds coming from other galaxy systems, but Earth, our home, was birthed out of the Orion constellation. Among the worlds of Rigel was also called Atlantis. So Atlantis had karmic difficulties that resulted in self-destruction. The destruction of Atlantis also caused a major imbalance in the worlds of Rigel. So this was playing out in the Rigel system, Atlantis, before it was playing out on Earth. And there was an energy grid. They had an energy grid. So this energy grid is still in Earth today. Hence one of the reasons why what's imbalanced in the Rigel system is now our problem. It is now our priority. Okay, it is now something we got to look at because Earth and Venus carried the seed codes of Rigel to a new space and time here on the Earth, and many souls that were from Atlantis later reincarnated in what was considered Atlantis on Earth. Okay, so a lot of us hold the original grid technology and codes to Rigel. The Earth and Venus hold a balance for Rigel here in the point of space-time within the Milky Way galaxy. This balance is maintained to hold the vault of Orion. The vault of Orion, and the vaults have been coming up lately, you guys. I've been hearing the words vault, okay, to unlock the vault, to release ourselves from the damage that has been incurred with the locking systems within Orion, to release the information. A large area in space with that constellation open energetically as a portal between universes. Orion is a doorway in this universal membrane to other universes. Earth and Venus hold a balance for Rigel and the vault of Orion to hold open this passage. With a trapezium of the Orion Nebula is where the hologram for this universe was radiated. The Earth was the center of the universe as it holds a very key balance point for the maintenance of this universe, and Venus as its guardian and guide. Now, this very much aligns with everything that I've been channeling and bringing forward, the visions and downloads I've been getting, that Venus is future. Venus is the future. Venus is already ascended. Venus is future Earth, okay, in a crystallized form. Venus holds the gem body. Venus holds the gem portals and passageways in this Earth, meaning that all Venus temples here on the Earth and where they're located, this is very pivotal to the Guardian Rescue mission work that we do to anchor the new Earth fabrics here in the planet. Okay. It holds the universal context for our quantum reality, and Venusians are very close to all human relations in a more advanced genetic, energetic type of way. They are still now parts of the Venusian collective are part of an older world system, but they're still holding the codes here. But both Venus and Mars' inner world are on a very high spectrum, okay, of the newer systems. And so if we can connect these within our fields, they're going to bring forth a higher new Earth revolution, so to speak. So I really like this picture, though. This to me is just so resonant. It's so beautiful. It's so peaceful. Now I do feel that these would be held inside of the gem body. So honestly, these pictures here, these forms of Venus, where Earth consciousness is already in like a gem body form, this is what I kind of visualize as more of these carnelian-like crystals that are holding. Now there are emerald as well, but the carnelian, the citrine colors, this is really what Venus is kind of rooted in, so to speak. And so let's talk about this gem body. The pure gem body is the future ascended state of the human form. Okay, this is kind of the fabric results. I say fabric because I think of the weaving of the realities that are coming. It's the fabric results of everything in terms of the prophecy of building new Earth is sustaining itself off of and through. So it's coming through the building of the golden light cities, the activation of the 12 solar discs, the expansion of the dove grid light matrices, the new Earth rebirthing processes of the new Terra reformation of the lands of Lemuria and Mu, and the resurrection of these healings, right? It's all building through a process of building new Earth and ascending Earth. Well, as we go through that and go through the cathedrals of learning, the golden cities of light, the emergence of this transformation, that the pure gem body comes forward. This is at the hosted core of the diamond architecture and the star crystal matrix. Okay, so Venus holds this already in its form. It's the ascended version of it. It is a multifaceted light vehicle for the soul. Okay, this is free of a body. And it is the sapphire ray ship. Okay, and I've been getting that as well. The sapphire codes, the sapphire light, the sapphire flame, that this is the highest flame that we can honestly utilize here because it brings in the 13 dimensional flame codes, right? And this is what really can work within one's light body to facilitate the actualization of the pure gem body and its electromagnetic reality of Earth. So even when we did that Kauai restoration mission, when we came into that mission, we worked with the sapphire ray. Okay, for all of the preliminary foundational work for Kauai, Hawaii, we worked with the sapphire ray. This is deeply connected to the various crystalline properties and elements. So this would be like sustaining gem body ray fire up and through this carnelian-based picture that you see here. This is what sustains the new Earth Ascension sapphire mount within our inner Earth and also on Venus. Both exhibit numerous crystalline properties that are composed of elements like water, vapor, ice crystals, and opaline varieties. Again, the magnetic field, the not magnetic, but it's like a mineralized magnetism. It is the I said cellophane earlier, but it's metallic, the metallic sustenance, okay? And this is manifest within the terrestrial spheres and within the crystals on this earth. And this comes through the sapphires, the turquoise, the larimer, the lapis lazuli, the amethyst orders, opals, and the rare crystals. All rare crystal minerals. These crystals are seen as emanating all of this through the sapphire ray. So this is going to activate through the pure gem body. Now the Venus temples, they're considered like wombs. Okay, they contain all of the seeds of light and all of the ascending records of New Earth, all of Venus, all of the Golden Age, everything in terms of the sisterhood and the guardianship and beauty and love. The frequencies of beauty and love is from our solar system is held within these temples. Okay, and so these processes have already begun. This is what we're all invested in. This is why we're all called to move and shift and do the work itself, is because the processes have begun. How is this all making sense for you guys? Let me know kind of how you're tuning in with this information, and can you feel the activation within it? Because I feel like just even talking about it, it's really activating the codes even more. The Temple of Venus connect to the vibratory frequency of Venus. Okay, this is held in Kauai. Okay, they're connected to the guardian by the divine feminine. Also through all of the Mary Magdalene lineages, the Hydra lineages, the Cassiopean lineages, Syrian lineages. Okay, Melchizedek lineages as well, even though they're getting a clearing through their genetic code right now. Even Orion, even Rigel. Okay, so I think we have to take this clearing into the Rigel system clearly. But this they mark, but really, I mean, it's really in the devotion within the Sisters of the Magdalene. Okay, so running through France, running through the Cathars, running through the Templars, the releasing of the Templars. This is very pivotal, important for the gatework on the grid gatework on 8/8. It's all interconnected here. But the original Sisters of the Magdalene started as a gathering of women with their master teacher, soul incarnate, Maria Magdalene, came in through the Temple of Venus, came in through the vow of planetary purpose, came in through the just the devotion of the divine feminine that brought this forth on the earth. Now, this was just it's just an accelerative timeline of this energy, a rebirthing of this energy in the timeline, but the sacredness is still within the temples. Okay, so it's a very strong vibration. It's being maintained continuously on the inner earth planes. So this will be tapped into. This will be reestablished and reformed through the return of the temple of the Venus temple in France. This is kind of why Hawaii and France are connected. Now, if you look at Ashana Dean's work, she's connecting those one's an inner Earth gate site and one's an inner Earth Q site to France. This is why. This is why, you guys. Oh my gosh. So it's really important for us to locate all of the Venus temples on Earth. And so the Temple of the Golden Flame, this is a Venus temple. This is held in the slope of Mount Ararat in Turkey. Okay. The Temple of the Pure Flame, this is held near Alexandria in Egypt. And I can tell you guys, because I went to Alexandria in Egypt, that has been moved. It's not in Cairo. Okay, the fourth planetary stargate is in Cairo, but yes, the Temple of the Pure Flame, the essence of the stellar transmission of the white flame, that is near the Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean Sea pulls in the codes of the white flame. Anyone who was born around the Mediterranean Sea, you're going to be a white flame holder. The next one, Temple of Venus, Temple of the Heart Tone. Beneath the Alhambra in Spain, this is a very active one. This brings forth the heart of the dove. So this is transmitting with the United States, with the emergence of the dove as well, bringing forth the violet flame of divine accord, harmonizing the rhythms of the holy tone. We have the Temple of the Ruby Fire, Venus Temple. This is in Sedona. The path of qualifying the nature of the divine feminine. It's the Ruby Fire. We have the temple in France. This one is very active. This is holding the point of hope for the future. All right, so you can see why Kauai, Hawaii is so necessary, initiating inner earth gate to the Q site in France, bringing forth the hope for the future, guiding the rays of Eshkatan. We have the Temple of the New Covenant. This is in the Canary Islands. This is an Atlantean Venus temple. This one should be very on point, so to speak, for clearing what's going on with the connection point with Rigel and planetary creation history and the contention over this planetary war. To dissolve this. Also to take this out of the hands of Mars. Okay, Mars has to heal. Mars is holding wounds. So this will bring forth a new covenant, and this will initiate the Earth Star Blue Flame. And then the last Venus temple, and one of the most important initiating Venus temples, this is going to be in Kauai, underneath the San Marga Monastery grounds, a Lemurian Venus temple. This is the first temple arisen to the new octave of the emerald flame, which is the initiation flame, the initiation of the emerald lava and the emerald smoke in the Nepali coast, right? The clearing has to run here. There's also an 8th Venus temple that the node is in New Earth Star of Numis. This is the first stage of the new Earth, which formed energetically within a Venus pillar of light. And so I do feel that this one is a little bit off planet. This one, I see it, it says it's the Crux pillar of light. So it's clearing through the Crux constellation. The Crux constellation, which is connected to the original crucifixion of Christ, as that star was risen at the point of Christ's crucifixion. Okay, this does take us back to Mu. This takes us back to Mu. And this is really important because Mu, the Mu people, now this is why we can pull it back to Ireland. These are some pictures as I have of the dance of Earth and Venus as they're coming out of the Rigel system. Okay, part of our planetary creation story here. The emergence of Venus. Now this is connecting to Venus to the Irish bloodline. This is why Iru, Emu, okay? Iru, the spirit of Iru, the mother goddess of Iru of Ireland, Emu, okay? A lot of the original Mus, especially the ones that were force spread through the Anunnaki and the Nephilim, okay, why the Irish bloodline had taken such a hit on this, right? Some of the original soul holders, some of the redheads, honestly, I would say Irish descended people, they must have, we know they came from Mu, but even more specific to that, I think they would have descended from the Pacific Islands in some way. Okay, this is just the transformation of them from dark to light skin, dark to red hair. And Mu was known as the motherland, so a lot of the migrations to the Americas and even to Ireland itself, going back even further, the history and the timelines don't essentially make sense. They don't, but this is going back even further. Like 2 planetary greater precession cycles of 125,000 years each. So this would be Emu, Iru, would have remnants in different parts of the world. A lot of them also coming up from underground, coming from the cave systems as well. I'm even getting that right now I'm getting that some of the Eru, they would have come up through Shasta. Okay, Shasta, and then also areas in Tibet. But essentially, Mu is what became humanity. Everything kind of birthed from Mu, right? Mu suffered the cataclysm spasms before its final plunge, and among the chaotic episodes were two major magnetic implosions coming from the center of the Earth. This occurred when the central sun of our planet became overloaded with the magnetic charge and caused by pressures in the Earth's crust of magma and created a naturally hollow cavity of the planet. And this was what happened in Mu was at the royal point of the planet. This was when the region of the surface of the sphere drew the discharge from the atoma to the surface. So this is where the great upheaval of Mu ultimately and the cataclysm took place. But yeah, it goes back to all of this, really. And so the women of Ireland, okay, the women of the crux of the forest breeder program, these would be the Venusian beings here holding the access to the temple fire, to the Venusian temples and the pure temple gem body. Now, I have like a 30% Irish descent in my ancestry, which I have been aware about for so long, and I've always kind of denied that because I'm always looking at my just my Southern European genetics. I'm looking at my Italian, I'm looking at even some like Czech inheritance and even some British as well. But Irish, I have this deeply on my mother's side, on my maternal side. So which is very interesting. But these women, yeah, they're subjugated to the most severe forced breeder programs on the planet, along with we know West African bloodlines and other bloodlines as well. I would say the Yanas and the original tribals of the Ioni tribes, going back to these original Tothian deceptions, right, that occurred, causing these betrayal wounds, causing the first breeder programs out the gate in terms of our creator Genesis stories from Adam and Eve, that it all goes back to this. It all actually goes back on a greater level, back to the original mother mitochondria, which is what we all descended from. We all, every single human, every single living being that holds a human body on this planet goes back to the original mother mitochondria cell. We are all connected. We are all this. We are all the same. So even if you don't have Irish descent or this or that, it doesn't matter. We all got here one way or another through our past lives and timelines through the descent process, okay, from the original mother mitochondria cell ultimately. And for this reason, everything that happened and played out in the Hawaiian Islands is our history. It's everyone's history. So, in Hawaii, this is where we have to resurrect the new Earth hologram. Okay, let me see if I have some cool pictures, but I don't have a new Earth hologram picture. I like this one. I go back to this one. This one. So basically what's going on is the big island of Hawaii. So the whole chains of the islands is actually within the field of this royal point, and it is for this reason that the Hawaiian Islands is key transformational vortex for the Earth. It is here in Hawaii that the new Earth hologram, or the program of light for the new creational regenesis of Earth, this is where it will begin. This is where it will begin, you guys. This is like, I could cry saying this, honestly. Because this is what the whole dynamic, the whole point of going to the islands to do the work itself is to really activate the New Earth hologram. Only those who are vision holders and key holders to New Earth that are holding the hologram of New Earth within them can really truly activate it. So it has to be the vision holders that come forward. Okay? It has to be those that carry some form of descent, even though we all do technically, but something very present within the bloodline that's going to initiate those codes. And this also to initiate the fire gem matrix within the Nepali coast. This also has a lot to do with the clearing of what's negative on the island as well. So we've looked into this with looking at what's kind of holding back within the frequency fences and how we can release the strongholds of things. It has a lot to do with the dark military bases and what secret underground facilities that they have here on the island. Okay, so it's been seen that there's something called I'll call it a Harry box, but you know what Harry stands for? Okay, the Harry box on Kauai's military base and secret underground facility is a box connected to the main one through an energy frequency. So it's one of the main boxes that are holding together the fabric of the artificial like control frequency fence globally worldwide within the Harry systems within several locations around the world. So it's one of the things that has to be worked within in terms of the dissolving of this. This is the most severe frequency fence that exists on the planet Earth at this time. This is the largest network. So when we talk about the Atlantean pylon implant overlays and control system networks, the frequency overlays, this is one that I think encompasses all of them. Okay, so when we talk about like a beast machine, this network is a total beast machine, and it anchors into a box into Kauai. It's a fabric that's being held there in terms of the artificial timelines, the descending timelines, the shadow realms, the worms, the fallen wormhole systems, all of it. It's anchored here. So we definitely have to work to, release this energetically in terms of the woundings and traumas that have allowed these things to occur essentially on the planet. Compartmentalization of New Earth is occurring and what it looks like and what these steps and phases are going to be all about. So we're definitely going through a terra reformation process that has begun into the 12,000 Comet Era. And we're becoming Earth's new identity and the future golden age and what these shifts will entail, bringing forth more details, right? So, what I've been seeing is that we are currently birthing new lands right now as we speak. We are currently birthing chains of islands, hundreds of thousands of islands. So, when we talk about the seas rising up and coming into the land and all these major changes, new lands rising from the oceans that we're birthing even a new Lemuria, right? Um, Really, I think where this is taking place is this is forming in the Pacific Ocean, right? It's already happening right now from Hawaii to Japan. And what I've been seeing is that these chains of islands that are being born, that these are holding the new land codes. Okay, these are actually the new lands of New Earth. They're in a nursery state, so to speak. But these lands would be more charged with the double diamond crystals. They're going to have new elemental and new emerald body upgrades, in which are building the new ultra radiant lattices of light, right? The dove, the swan, these beautiful light grids and fabrics in which hold the new earth reality templates in place. It's being birthed into the surface kingdom of the planet within the islands. The islands hold the new earth codes. All of the sacred Venusian, all of the Aurora body, all of the base race morphogenetic templating to the Aurora races, which the Aurora races are set to incarnate into the seventh root race. Okay. And all of this is encrypted already in these birthing chains of islands. And so this is it's like re-encrypted land. It's corrected land because it's coming up with there's no corruption codes that are technically, well, there are some. We're going to go over that, but for the most part, it's virgin land. And within this, there's been a removing of the distortions that were a part of the original elemental form that comprises the old Earth planetary body and all of the negative reversal patterning, right? It's kind of free and clear of this. And what's happening is the new Earth elemental command centers from the Pacific, specifically within fire and water, within the volcanoes and the Pacific Ring of Fire. They're working to rehabilitate all these new encryptions into the non-distorted patterning that recode the race morphogenetic field in the planet, and it's recorrecting the 12 tree universal tree of life inside of the planet, the holographic base level 1 light body of the planet. This is all being re-encoded. This is all being cleansed, okay, and upgraded in humanity. And I'm really, yeah, was picking up on all of this in those Japanese islands. Now, what initially brought my attention to Japan, I'll just put out this picture of Japan here, was the rapid rate in which islands are being birthed here in the Pacific. Okay, there's also a lot of underwater ruins that are beneath the islands in Japan and the ridges there that lead to the ancient cities of Mu, where the majority of the remnants of Mu remain, and which I feel is highly significant in decoding the New Earth templating, right? So the ruins, the underwater ruins is really what brought me here, but then recognizing that they said that Japan has over 100,000 islands. Many of them are not accounted for because the size is just too small to count. They're literally just little baby islands. But the Japanese archipelago actually has 14,125 islands, and they recently just discovered and identified another 7,273 new islands. And they just appear to manifest out of nowhere. So I actually went and watched a video on YouTube of like, what does it look like as these islands are birthing themselves? And it's actually pretty interesting to watch as they come up and they spew out and they start to form. So I think that the New Earth activity is lit in Japan. Like this is the birth canal over here on this ridge. And also it's heightened and at the forefront of consciousness. Like if you even just think about the Japanese people, it's considered the least religious, one of the least religious countries in the world and one of the most spiritual countries where it's more spiritual freedom. So they actually are like energetically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, like they are aligned more to, I think probably more of like a new earth future shift in spirituality as well. I think they bring forth more Shintoism and things like this, but still that's a spiritual practice concept and philosophy versus a religion. So they don't have that much religion in Japan. So they're less controlled by the constraints of the reversal patterning and of the Templar seals. And also, they have the new Earth land codes evolving, birthing here at a rapid rate at this grid location. And these new islands will become the new lands of our future timelines. Basically, that's what's happening. So, this is a nursery ridge womb water for the cradle of humanity, new Earth civilization to be born. And I just really feel like there is something so spectacularly significant as to why these eastern ridges are the manifestation point to the emergence of the future timelines. It's all here along the East China Sea and the Sea of Japan. I think it even looks, it's a little better on this picture. So yeah, all these islands, just I think in the Tonga, all this area here. Now, a lot of this, and I think why this area is so activated in terms of being so lit with birthing these new islands, the significance is that I think it's due to the power centers of the dragon consciousness, right? We talk about China being, their uh, country's animal is the dragon. I mean, really, there's a lot of dragon energy on the eastern side. It always has been that way. I think that the head of the dragon sits over in this area, but you got to think about it. Japan's like the pineal of the dragon. Japan is like the extent of the dragon's psychic intuition and higher self as well. Like the dragon consciousness, the whole form of it is there. And I think that there is an immense amount of dragon eggs. Okay, I think that these islands themselves are dragon eggs. They are dragon eggs. So yeah, these are some of the islands, right? The Tonga Islands. And so if you think of these islands as the eggs, they're symbolic to the dragon egg. So each egg is being laid, coming to the surface of the rising sun as the dragon's womb gives birth. This is how I'm philosophizing it, if that's a word. So when people say, where are the dragon eggs? Well, I think the dragon eggs are the new lands. They're the new islands. Hence why you have down in the United Emerald or Emirate Arabs, the UAE, Dubai, they're creating artificial islands. They're creating artificial dragon eggs, trying to replicate it, clone it, basically. So yeah, each egg is being laid, coming to the surface of the rising sun as the dragon's womb gives birth. And because the dragon's spirit consciousness embodied in the earth, how it's embodied in the earth is it comes in a celestial form. And that represents the solar body of the solar dragon. So you have the solar dragon energy that's coming through, and then you also have a white water dragon, right? That's represented by the influx of the earthquakes and the tsunamis here. With Japan having the most amount of tsunamis activity globally, worldwide, which is just crazy to me. I've always been so fascinated by the tsunamis that impact Japan. I can watch video after video of these tsunami impacts. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with watching it, but it just seems to do something for me. This was the picture. Okay. Yeah, this really represents the tsunami here, this one. Revolutionary Bell 62 says they are doing a lot of work with water in Japan right now. Is it Moto the experiments? Write a word on a bottle. Mm. There's definitely a lot going on with the experiments and as to why things occurred in Japan, and we're actually going to get into that. So good point. Missy says, I am really close to Asheville, North Carolina, but on the Tennessee border of hot springs. Think Appalachian and Smoky Mountains, some of the oldest in the world. Norway has been calling me. Finland is Sami land. Missy's dropping dragon eggs. Yeah. Drop some dragon eggs in the chat, you guys. Dragon eggs in the house. Um, well, also, okay, also hence why, okay, Japan is also, this is their flag. This is the Japanese flag. So it's the symbolism of the rising sun and has held symbolic meaning in Japan since the Asuka period, 738 to 710 CE. The rising sun flag is Japanese flag that consists of a red disc and 16 red rays emanating from the disc. So 16 rays, I mean, that's kind of a lot, actually. So it's like an evolved solar body, an evolved sun. The Japanese archipelago is set of the Asian mainland and thus where the sun rises. The Japanese word for Japan, which is pronounced Nihon or Nippon, literally means the origin of the sun. So we're looking at Japan. This is what's considered the origin of the sun. So the dragon itself is the raw form of the solar energy embodied on the planet. And this was like an aha moment for me last night, feeling through this and figuring this out because for so long I kept feeling disconnected from the dragon's energy, like it was some form of a separation to Christed consciousness or something, but I don't think it is. I think that this is one and the same. And so also, but also the tsunami part of this, right? The tsunami. So the tsunami representing an emotional stress release from the earth, right? Because it emerges after a volcano erupts or results from an earthquake or a shift in a tectonic plate. The tsunami represents the power and the courage of our inner mother spirit soul body, and then also the dragon's rage of eruption. Within this, it's almost like a birthing pain or a birthing wave, an overwhelming emotional break, a transformational fire water. It's the most powerful force when we combine fire and water. And the manifestation of this, so if a tsunami rolls through Japan after this hurricane or after this typhoon, I will be in shock. But I think that this is representing new cycles of new earth in the way that they cleanse the land with this raw feminine form, an overwhelming natural force, seemingly uncontrollable power, yet sometimes also devastating power as well. And I think as these things come through, this is clearing a lot of the fear around the feminine's power in the planet, the feminine's force. Okay. And what even just sharing this force, right, in an equal way, could be about. There's still a lot of fear here that has to clear within a lot of the Saturnian templating, okay? A lot of the Templar, all of this stuff, like this has to clear. And I think these spirits, okay, the solar body dragon and the white water body dragon, that this is embodied in the ancient builder races. Ancient builder races. I've been saying, like gridwork technology, I think this is the new version of this, that grid workers are intuitively ancient builder races that came to build from the depth of the rising sun, the depth of the dragon's body, the dragon's lines, the dragon's soul river lines, the dragon nodal points, the dragon eggs, in which our spiritual geographical grid anatomy itself actually as well, right? Everything on the surface is the dragon's body. And so, yeah, it was relatively dormant until recent solar activations radically shifted the magnetic field and the planetary emerald body initiations began. And this is really what's initiating down in Kauai is these emerald lava activations. And so these builder races are connected to the dragon beings. There's 13 different ones on the planet, and they're enveloped in the crust of the earth, in which stands as guardians to the land. It protects the land and it protects the ley lines, and it's ready to protect those baby islands. It's ready to protect what is in an infant or a childlike or an innocent state or is like new. The dragon protects this. It's protecting its eggs, basically. So if you think why all these things happen over there, all this geological upheaval, it's actually a defense system to protect its eggs. Okay, so for when they crack and open, so that they can rise to the surface of the earth within and through the primordial waters. Hence why all of this has led me back to the Nepali coast. Okay, why we're going to the Nepali coast, why all this is super significant. Let me see if I have some of my emerald. Okay, I do. We'll throw this picture up here. You guys remember this one. This is kind of what's the power of what's being held in the Nepali coast and what we're tuning into here. They're running emerald lava, they're running emerald smoke, the emerald crystal caverns, the emerald skull. Each volcanic location is carrying a different spiritual property of lava. And this, guys, this just kind of came into my field. I've just been tuning into this, that the volcanic systems are bringing in the elemental upgrades. The volcanic systems with the differentiation and sulfur and chemical components and however that's working on, a chemical geological level. I haven't broke that down entirely, but the different types of lavas are coming up to the surface. Just an example of this would be, so if we have emerald lava in the Nepali coast, well, in Ethiopia, they have blue lava spewing. And this is a real deal thing. This is really actually happening and occurring. It's quite the phenomena that the lavas themselves are going from what we think it should be, an orangey, fiery red lava, to a green lava and to a blue lava. And this is what is creating the new components, the new templating, the new genetic codes, the new energy codes, all of it within the new land because they're rising up through different variations of lava codes that are coming up with the new Earth templates. So I just want to give a shout out to the subscriber on Instagram who sent me the pictures of the blue lava. That was really awesome of you. So thank you so much. Now, Noko pops in. She says, Kingston asked if he's famous now that Indy shouted him out on here for his weatherman Gridwork in. Kingston, you're famous. Yeah, I think someday you will be. Smart guy, smart kid. Gio says, love, peace, joy, and blessings. Thank you, joy and blessings. Was literally working on constructing my ceremonial outline for day 3 of our mission when I realized Indy was live for this energy update. It's like a diamond bell was rung in my head to hop on. Wow. Yeah, we're getting the call for sure because I mean, we're bringing all of this information in. And one thing I do know is that, let's go back to my awesome picture here. So what I was getting is that the new World War II codes, like not that there's new codes, but the ancient past timeline World War II codes, what we had seen in the grid work is that they were locked in a vault in the lands of Germany, that this has actually been stuck in an Orion vault. And it does seem to have been slowly allowing us collectively to process the humanitarian war traumas. We're starting to be able to open this up more, right? All of the stuck and oppressed collective energy, all of the the planetary triggers, all of the density locking systems and planetary weapon systems, everything that's basically working against humanity that's connected to Orion, the mechanical beast machines, all of this, it's all held in a vault in the lands of Germany. And so maybe go back and watch that significant Germany grid work that we did as we were working to kind of bring a lot of that up to the surface. And so one thing that I know for certain is that as we move over to Hawaii, one significant clearing will be to send aid to the nuclear devastation sites on the planet, utilizing our relativity to Pearl Harbor, right? Because that's down in Hawaii, and with that significance to Japan, right? The United States basically detonated 2 atomic bombs over the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So, right, you guys probably learned about this in World War II history, like how crazy. And I think they just put a movie out, Oppenheimer, where they're talking about building the atomic bomb, all of this. But the bombs killed between 150,000 to 246,000 people, most of whom were civilians, and remain the only nuclear weapons in armed conflict globally in human history. So the only place in the world that they've ever dropped nuclear atomic bombs has been in Japan. Hmm. Think about that, you guys. Why would they drop bombs in Japan, only in Japan, the only place that's ever been bombed? Japan. It's kind of strange, right? It's kind of fishy to me. I think there's something going on with this, right? If you think about the dragon eggs, the dragon consciousness, the birthplace of the rising sun, right? Where new life, new lands are coming to the surface of the primordial waters. To think they dropped nuclear bombs in these womb waters in the new Earth birthing island nursery chain, they want to drop atomic bombs here. That's just like taking an atomic bomb and just putting it in my womb, basically. That's where, I mean, I think this was strategic. I think this was intentional. I think there was some sort of intelligence that's unseen that worked behind the scenes to basically blow up the planetary womb ridge, the birthing canal of the planet. And this also means that nuclear radiation devastation circulates within the passageways of the dragon's womb. Because these waters are still not, all that safe. I think Nagasaki's over here somewhere. These waters are still not safe. I mean, I've had a couple people that told me that they were in Japan and they went swimming in the ocean in Japan and they come out of the water with blisters all over their body. Okay, this is how bad the oceans still are there, that you can't really swim in the ocean unless you want, and like anywhere you might have a cut or anywhere you might have some sort of irritation on your body, it gets 1,000 times worse after going in the waters in Japan. Like people are saying that you cannot really actually swim there. I don't know, drop it down in the comments if anyone knows or has been to Japan or has gone in the water. Does it feel like it's just very unhealthy ocean waters? Lots of nuclear devastation in the ocean. If anyone's experienced anything like that before. Missy says, yes, and those timelines connect to Montauk and the Philadelphia Project with the experiments. Absolutely. This is where I was having visions when you were talking about Hawaii a month ago. Yeah, it's all connected here. That is for sure. The Omicron, Odedicron, Wesadrak timelines too. Yes, these are absolutely. These are probably the beings that stood behind the design of the atomic bomb is the Omicron, Odedicron, Wesadek types. Noko says fully monthly Gridwork replays available at the Gridworker levels on Indy's Patreon. Yes, you can join Patreon at patreon.com/IndigoAngel. And we usually have a grid worker remote session every single month, but I will not be hosting one for September as I will be in Kauai. So I'll probably just be putting like behind the scenes footage and stuff on Patreon more so just for that month. And then we'll pick back up again in October for remote sessions. So be sure to just stay tuned. Yeah, and put a big like on this video today, guys. Help me out here and drop a comment down below the video as well if you can. um, just to support the video feed as well. But yeah, so I mean, it's suspicious, right? It's suspicious why they would literally blow up the planetary womb ridge, nuclear radiation devastation circulating in the passageways of the dragon's womb, the intent truly may have been to rip open space-time portals in the planetary womb to invade the birth process of the land and the codes within it, holding the tragedy from the Orion Galactic Wars, human military criminal weapon systems in the sacral heart at the passageways to the future, right? And so what I've seen that there are protections around this though on a guardian level that there are beings and organic intelligences that are creating kind of like a protect